In this video, we will talk about modern nuclear weapons, try to understand how dangerous they can be, and what could happen to our planet if humanity decides to use them. How powerful can a nuclear explosion be, and what consequences could it have? Interested? Then hit the like button and be sure to watch the video till the end. The emergence of nuclear weapons can be traced back to Berlin in 1938, where German scientists Otto Hahn, Fritz Strassmann, and Lisa Meitner discovered nuclear fission, the splitting of an atomic nucleus, releasing a sudden and powerful burst of energy. This process is the foundation of nearly all nuclear technologies. The following year, Frederick Joliot patented the design of a uranium bomb, coinciding with the start of World War II. Hitler became aware of the potential to create this new weapon, leading to the launch of his nuclear program called Uranium Project. Although Germany had the conditions to develop nuclear weapons, the project fortunately failed for unknown reasons. If successful, it could have drastically altered the course of World War II. A significant milestone in nuclear bomb development occurred on August 13, 1942, when the United States began the Manhattan Project. This top-secret program aimed to develop nuclear weapons, and under the leadership of the renowned physicist Robert Oppenheimer, a large team of talented scientists, and significant funding, 3 atomic bombs were created within 2 years: the plutonium bomb, the Gadget, the uranium bomb, Little Boy, and the plutonium bomb, Fat Man. On July 16, 1945, at the Alamogordo test site in New Mexico, the Manhattan Project participants conducted the world's first nuclear weapon test under the codename Trinity, marking the beginning of the nuclear age. The explosion exceeded expectations, producing a brilliant flash of light, a heat wave, and a mushroom cloud rising about 10 kilometers high. The radiation levels around the test site remained several times higher than normal even today. At that time, the United States was at war with Japan, prompting the use of the remaining 2 bombs to achieve maximum psychological impact rather than just targeting strategic sites like Kokura, a major military arsenal, or Kyoto, a major industrial center. Hiroshima was chosen for its size and geographic location, surrounded by hills that could amplify the explosion's effect. The order to bomb was approved on July 25th, stating, starting from August 3rd, we begin bombing one of the following targets: Hiroshima, Kokura, Niigata, or Nagasaki as soon as weather permits, and subsequently additional cities as bombs become available. On July 26, the governments of the United States, Britain, and China signed the Potsdam Declaration, demanding Japanese unconditional surrender. When Japan rejected the demands, the Little Boy bomb, with an equivalent to 13 to 18 kilotons of TNT, was dropped on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, killing around 60,000 people. On August 9, the Fat Man bomb, with an equivalent of 21 kilotons of TNT, was dropped on Nagasaki, killing about 80,000 people. After these events, Japan unconditionally surrendered, marking the only 2 instances of nuclear weapon use in warfare. Besides the explosion itself, the aftermath is also dangerous. In those years, the concept of radioactive contamination was unknown, so people continued living and rebuilding in the same areas, unaware of the high mortality rates, diseases, and genetic defects in children born after the bombings, initially not linked to radiation exposure. As a result, no evacuations from contaminated areas were conducted. Accurately assessing the degree of contamination is difficult due to a lack of information, but because early atomic bombs were relatively weak and inefficient, the level of contamination was significant but not extreme. For instance, the Little Boy bomb contained 64 kilograms of uranium, with only about 700 grams undergoing fission. For comparison, the Chernobyl disaster involved several tons of fission products and other radioactive elements. Modern bombs would have higher radiation levels, leading to more severe environmental damage, and radioactive substances would be more dangerous, necessitating specific radiation dose limits to prevent harm. Radiation is dangerous as it always causes health damage. High doses immediately cause severe tissue damage and death, while low doses can lead to cancer, genetic defects, and other problems. In simple terms, radiation destroys human cells and impairs their ability to self-repair. A large radiation dose can cause widespread cell destruction, overwhelming the body's repair mechanisms and leading to the failure of vital organs. For example, if radiation destroys lung cells while the body attempts to repair them, radiation destroys cells in other organs, breaking the connection between them and leading to organ failure. Radiation resembles hundreds of microscopic bullets moving at high speeds, penetrating the human body and destroying cellular structures. The degree of radiation damage depends on the dose and duration of exposure, and radiation sickness describes illnesses resulting from exposure to various types of radiation. Radiation sickness can result from external or internal exposure when radioactive substances enter the body through inhalation, ingestion, or skin absorption. Not every radiation dose is dangerous. For instance, small doses from medical imaging are generally safe. However, doses exceeding 50 R can cause radiation sickness, and a dose of 200 to 300 R received over a short period can lead to severe radiation damage. Chronic exposure over months might not cause illness due to the body's ability to generate new cells. Areas remain uninhabitable for years after a nuclear explosion due to residual radiation. For instance, after the Trinity test, radiation levels remained elevated for 50 years. More powerful bombs would have even more severe effects, with radiation acting up to 2 to 3 kilometers from the explosion site. Bombs can be designed to increase radiation's reach and duration, causing long-term environmental contamination. Consequently, the total death toll in Hiroshima and Nagasaki by August 31, 2013 was not 200,000 but around 450,000, as many people died from radiation exposure years later, including children born to survivors who developed severe cancers. Before continuing, let's clarify a few key points. The terms nuclear bomb and atomic bomb are synonymous, used interchangeably due to the popularity of the term atomic in the 1940s and 50s, despite being inaccurate. The reactions occur in the atomic nucleus, making them nuclear. Scientists involved in the Manhattan Project always used nuclear, which eventually caught on. Similarly, thermonuclear and hydrogen bomb are interchangeable terms. Now, let's discuss their differences. Both bomb types belong to the nuclear weapons class, but their primary difference lies in the explosion mechanism. The atomic bomb, usually torpedo-shaped, achieves a nuclear explosion through a chain of reaction of heavy nucleus fission. Only a few heavy elements can do this, typically using uranium-235, though plutonium-239 can also be used but is rarer. To maximize explosive energy, the uranium-235 isotope must constitute at least 75% of the material, requiring enrichment. The primary method for achieving a nuclear explosion in such bombs is called implosive. Imagine the bomb as a sphere containing the necessary components for a nuclear reaction, but not yet reaching critical mass. By initiating a controlled explosion outside the sphere, for example, placing explosive material on the shell and detonating it, the inner space compresses towards the center, increasing the density of uranium or plutonium and causing an explosion. The thermonuclear or hydrogen bomb, on the other hand, releases energy through nuclear fusion. Inside the bomb, a rapid explosion reaction occurs involving elements like deuterium and tritium, with lithium deuteride being the main working substance. This material needs an additional component, a built-in low-yield nuclear device or detonator, which releases energy to trigger the thermonuclear reaction. Unlike atomic bombs, hydrogen bombs have no theoretical yield limits, meaning they could theoretically destroy the entire planet. Previously mentioned atomic bombs like Little Boy, 13 to 18 kilotons, and Fat Man, 21 kilotons, are compared to TNT equivalents. For understanding, TNT is a commonly used explosive, and nuclear explosion yields are expressed in kilotons and megatons. 1 kiloton equals 1 million kilograms of TNT, and 1 megaton equals 1,000 kilotons or 1 billion kilograms of TNT. The famous Tsar bomber, a thermonuclear bomb with a yield of 58.6 megatons, equates to nearly 57 billion kilograms of TNT. Currently, fortunately, only a few countries possess nuclear weapons, unofficially called the Nuclear Club. As of 2018, the members are the USA, around 6,800 warheads, Russia, around 7,000, the UK, around 215, France, around 300, China, between 240 to 10,000, Israel, around 80, India, around 110, Pakistan, around 120, and North Korea, around 35 warheads. These numbers may have changed since then. Types of nuclear bombs, missiles dropped from aircraft, etc. Now, let's discuss the types of nuclear and hydrogen bombs, their appearances and usage. The oldest and best-known versions, like Little Boy, weighed around 4.4 tons, measuring 3 meters in length and 71 centimeters in diameter. They were dropped from aircraft and exploded at 600 meters above ground. Almost all nuclear bombs are torpedo-shaped and deployed from aircraft. Nuclear missiles, however, can be launched from one end of the world to the other. For instance, during the Cuban Missile Crisis of the 1960s, the US discovered Soviet missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from its shores. This prompted President Kennedy to impose a naval blockade around the island, showing America's readiness to use military force to neutralize the threat. Fortunately, war was averted when the US agreed to Soviet leader Khrushchev's proposal to remove the Cuban missiles in exchange for a promise not to invade Cuba. Hydrogen bombs, more powerful than nuclear bombs, include the Tsar bomber, listed in the Guinness World Records as the most powerful nuclear weapon. Their transport often involves manual handling and aerial deployment, though some can be mounted on submarine-launched missiles. Comparing nuclear and thermonuclear weapons from the 1990s to the present reveals that progress hasn't advanced significantly. The Tsar bomber was designed in the Soviet Union in 1961. Most information about nuclear weapons is classified, making it hard to judge advancements. Is it possible to counter nuclear weapons? In theory, yes, but it depends on several factors. Many countries have anti-aircraft defenses capable of intercepting missiles in space or the atmosphere. However, there are two problems. Number one, these defenses are not widespread, so if a bomb targets an unprotected area, it will succeed. And two, adversaries understand that defense systems improve over time, rendering current missiles obsolete, prompting an arms race to upgrade both defenses and missiles. If a single plane can deliver a bomb undetected, the consequences could mirror Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where the Little Boy bomb was delivered by just 3 planes and the Japanese did not raise the alarm, leading to massive casualties. The theme of a post-apocalyptic world after a nuclear war is quite romanticized and popular, finding expression in various films, books, and of course, games. This unique atmosphere can't be compared to anything else, attracting many fans of this genre. The destructive effects of radiation inspire the creation of mysterious mutants, showcasing the impact of radiation on nature and the world as a whole. It's hard to imagine games about a nuclear apocalypse without mentioning the Fallout universe, which has a significant fanbase. In Fallout, mutants, bunkers to survive the nuclear winter, makeshift weapons, and interesting structures are all part of the game's lore. In reality, we are unlikely to encounter super mutants after a nuclear explosion who talk and behave like regular humans. However, as a fictional post-apocalyptic game universe, Fallout definitely deserves attention. It's also worth mentioning the Metro game series. In Metro 2033, a nuclear war occurs 20 years before the events of the story, wiping out most of Earth's population. Some people survive by hiding in shelters, such as the Moscow Metro, while others are lucky enough to avoid the bombings. The resulting radiation levels prevent people from leaving the shelters, and over time, mutated plants and animals, hostile and dangerous to humans, populate the Earth. Metro portrays a more realistic scenario where any surface excursion requires serious preparation, air filters, and ammunition. The mutants are more animal-like, which could plausibly exist in reality. Of course, there's also Stalker, which many are familiar with. What do you think? How difficult would it be to survive a nuclear apocalypse, and how realistically is it depicted in modern games? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's hope we only encounter such scenarios within the confines of a computer game.